Good afternoon, class. We're in the Northeast for social studies. Remember, if you ever want to view your book for any helps with your assignments, it's online. Go to Clever, go to TCI, and then click on it. We're now starting the fourth chapter, the Northeast. Here are the states of the Northeast as a review. Maryland and Delaware. You have New Jersey and Pennsylvania. New York, which includes this Long Island. Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. One of our first stops in the Northeast was at that lighthouse in Maine. A lot of lighthouses along the coast help sailors know that they are approaching land and to be cautious. We also said there was a lot of mountain ranges in the Northeast. One of our vocabulary words was peak, which is the top of the mountains. We took a look at how the democracy took root at Plymouth, and we had our interesting assignment that I can't wait to correct about whether you guys thought you should have one person as a ruler, a group of people, or people over the age of 10. Boston was a great place to start the American Revolution, where we fought for our freedom from Great Britain. And our last stop was the Erie Canal. I hope you enjoyed some of those videos that I posted for you about a canal dug by man with the locks that help the boats go up or down, and the little silly song at the end of the lesson last week. All right, today we have two stops. We're going to stop at New York, and then we're going to hit Hershey, Pennsylvania. Hershey, Pennsylvania is known for making its chocolates, its candies, and our assignment today will deal with wrapping candy, and I'll have a video or two for you to watch about that. New York City, where buildings touch the sky. We are in New York City, the largest in America. More than 8 million people live in the city. New York City has always been a city of immigrants. Now remember, immigrants are people who come to our country from a different country. The Dutch were the first Europeans to settle here, and then people from other parts of Europe and Africa followed. Together, they made New York City a city of many cultures and ways of life. Today, people still come to New York City from all over the world. Just listen to people talking on the streets. You hear English, Spanish, Chinese, Arabic, Russian, Hebrew, Italian, Korean, and many other languages. Now, I actually got the wonderful privilege to visit some schools in New York, and while I was there was many different people, kinds of people, and speaking different languages. Are you wondering how New York finds room for all these people? The answer is up in the air. 100 years ago, New Yorkers began building skyscrapers. People live and work in these very tall buildings. Now, most of the time, the apartments are on top, but on the first floor, on the street level, there are little shops and delicatessens, which is a fancy name for little restaurants, not like McDonald's, like a restaurant that a family would own. The Empire State Building is one of New York's most famous skyscraper. This office building is 103 stories or floors, and visitors can go to the very top of the building and look out at the view. You can climb the 1,860 stairs, but I suggest that you take an elevator. Now, elevators was a very important invention that allowed buildings to be built taller and taller and taller. If you had to climb all those stairs to get to your workplace, you'd spend half of your day going up to your job and half your day going down. Elevators made that easier. On a clear day, visitors on top of the Empire State Building can see parts of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, as well as New York. We're going to study a little bit more about New York in a reading lesson coming up when we have a cricket who visits New York. This Empire State Building is actually a famous building in a famous movie a long, long time ago, an old movie about King Kong, this big, huge gorilla. And one of the last scenes in the movie was he was climbing to the top of this building. Okay, that's New York. We're going to move on. Hershey, Pennsylvania, a town built on chocolate. Now, it's not literally built on top of chocolate. There is dirt and soil underneath it, but let's find out what it's talking about. One of my favorite movies is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Hopefully this year, guys, will read that book at the end of the year. So I was very excited when my family visited Hershey, Pennsylvania. And at last, I got a chance to see a real chocolate factory. Yum. Later, I wondered why Americans' first factories were built in the Northeast. I think there were two main reasons. One reason was water power. The first factories were built alongside rivers that rushed down out of the mountains. This rushing waters turned big water wheels that made the machines of the factory run. The second reason was people power. The Northeast was a good place for people who wanted to start businesses. Candy maker Milton Hershey was one of these people, and there were many people to work in those businesses. So if we were going to paraphrase that, hey, we had the water power and we had the people power to get these factories going. More than 100 years ago, Hershey, that was his name, Milton Hershey, started a candy business here in Pennsylvania. In his factory, he used a system called mass production. Here's the definition: a way of making large quantities of products, which is a way of making very large quantities of the same product. The Hershey bar was America's first mass-produced chocolate bar. Today, Hershey's factories is the largest chocolate factory in the world. We'll stop here to learn more about mass production. Enjoy your visit and try not to eat too much chocolate. And so here's a cool picture of this worker here. A worker at the factory checks the quality of a large vat of chocolate. The factory is located in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Now guys, if we were in school, I'd pass around little pieces of paper and little marbles. Marbles would be what we thought was chocolate, and your job would be to wrap those chocolates up. And if you got really good at it, you might be able to wrap 3 or 4 or 5 chocolates in a minute. Could you imagine doing that for an hour? 5 chocolates in a minute times 60 minutes. You'd be able to wrap 300 chocolates in an hour, but that's not just it. You're going to do this for 8 hours. And you're not going to just do this on Monday. You're going to do this every day of the week. Take little chocolates and wrap them up. Take little chocolates and wrap them up. Take little chocolates and wrap them up. Oh my goodness. That sounds like a really, really boring job that you get sick of after about the first hour and a half. Well, Hershey, Pennsylvania made machines to wrap these chocolates. Now that could be a good thing and a bad thing, and today in our assignment we're going to look at that. And suppose you have a job as a candy wrapper. You work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Fill the oval below with the facial expression that describes how you would feel about your job. Now wait, the first face I drew would be like, here's Mr. Bowers' eyes, and they're dripping. That's water. They're watering. And there's Mr. Bowers' little nose, and this is Mr. Bowers' face. It is the biggest smiley face you have ever seen, because you know what Mr. Bowers is thinking? He's thinking, I want to eat all this chocolate. Don't draw a face of what you would look like on the first day of your job, or even the second day of job. I want you to have done this job for 8 years. Wrapping chocolates for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 8 years. Your face might look like bored out of your mind. I'm just going to do it like a little rectangle face because I don't know what a bored mouth looks like, but it doesn't look like I can smell chocolate now, but it does not smell good to me. And now my eyes are kind of like cross-eyed. If I have to look at one more chocolate, and I got gray hair everywhere, and it's kind of sticking up because, you know what, I'm not too excited about my job, so I did not do my hair this morning. Ugh. And so, depending on what your face might look like, first week of job, yeah, chocolate. 8 years of looking at silly little chocolates, yeah. All right, well, whatever face you decide. Now it says write 2 adjectives. These are words that describe you. I am going to write down bored out of my mind. Feels like I have been doing this all day in the first 5 minutes. Now, don't write my sentences. You guys do your own. Write your face. Write a couple sentences here that would describe how you're feeling about wrapping all these chocolates. Okay. 2. Suppose someone invented a machine to wrap candies. Now, I want you to pause this video and go and click on my second and third video. I'm going to post you 2 videos because I found a couple cool machines that wrap candies, and I think they can do it a lot faster than I can. Okay? What might be the positives or good things about having a machine that wraps candies? What might be the negatives or bad things about it? Fill in the chart for. Now, I'm not going to tell you too many, but I want you to come up with 3. Now, if I'm bored out of my mind, it might be a great idea to have this new machine. But if a machine just took my job, I just lost my job. That would definitely be negative. I lost my job. Some machine just took my job. The crazy thing is, the machine never gets sick. The crazy thing is, the machine never breaks its arm. The crazy machine is, boy, the machine might be a really good thing if I'm the owner, right? All I have to do is put a little electricity in the machine and it goes. I don't even have to pay a machine. I have to pay my worker. I don't have to pay a machine. My worker gets sick. My machine never gets sick. If I'm an owner, it's a great idea. So I'm going to put some positives of the owner. It's cheaper. Doesn't break down. It can do it faster. Wait till you see these machines. They wrap these candies faster than I can even think about wrapping a machine. All right, what about the negative thing? What if the machine gets old and breaks? And now, what if the machine was really expensive to buy? Okay, you guys got 3 of each of those things, and then that goes back into your Tuesday folder. Now, the worksheets for social studies never have a good place, so I always put this line up here for you guys. Make sure you have your name on the top of the page if you'd like some credit for this. Complete the whole thing. Watch my machine videos to get a good idea on what chocolate wrapping looks like. God bless your day.